Europe itself has the greatest linguistic and cultural diversity of the Western world. However, the common history, geography, and social political evolution of the European continent, as well as the cultural divergence that have occurred in the former colonies, have resulted in the creation of a common bias for European culture that contrasts sometimes sharply with that of the United States or the rest of the Western world. While on this trip we encountered many cultural differences than that of our common lives in the United States, in Barcelona, we encountered a culture that was very family-centered and dependent on one another. The culture of Barcelona is so relaxed that the unemployment rate is around 27%. Many of the people that do not work rely on the government to give them money. When the ones that have jobs retire, 6 years later, the government will pay them a retirement plan. The people in Barcelona really do enjoy their time out with friends, as many of them attend nightclubs at night that play upbeat techno music. As opposed to the United States, many of the people in Barcelona go eat dinner late and stay out early in the morning, even some to see the sunrise on the beach. When the Olympics came to Barcelona in 1992, it put Barcelona on the map as one of today's world leaders in tourism, economic trade, and as well as a growing financial center. They built the Olympic Stadium on top looking over the city miles away to attract all the people around the world to this beautiful site. With a spot right on the coast of the Mediterranean Sea, Barcelona has a beach that attracts tons of people during the day and turns into nightclubs at night. One of the world's largest wineries is on the outskirts of Barcelona, which has a basement where they store millions of bottles of wine, going 500 yards length and width and 5 stories high. But not only are they known for the wine, Barcelona is home to one of the world's most popular football teams, FC Barcelona. Every home game in their stadium is filled with crazy, excited fans cheering on their team as they usually come out with a win in the Premier League. The food in Barcelona is very different than that in the United States, as they usually have specialty dishes called paella and appetizers that they call tapas, which are the most popular item on the Spanish menu. In Dijon, we noticed a big difference in the lifestyle in Barcelona. While the people are both very nice, in Dijon the people did not stay out late or go to any nightclubs. Instead, they spent most of their evenings with their families in their homes. Most of the restaurants and stores were closed on Sundays and Mondays, while once the work week started on Tuesdays, the streets started to fill with people. The famous Dijon mustard got its name because of its place of origin, and is one of the most popular condiments included in every meal throughout Europe. Included with their mustard, the Dijon region of Burgundy is a very notable wine-growing region, where they have wineries out in the outskirts of Dijon, France. Dijon is filled with a large number of churches such as the Notre Dame de Dijon, the St. Philbert, the St. Michael, and the Dijon Cathedral. These are marvelous churches with very detailed sculpture work. The city is filled with museums and artwork, as tourism is what drives their economy. One big difference we noticed from France to the US is that the income tax of the French people is 50%, yet the employment rate is better than that of Barcelona. Cologne is full of a rich history. It was one of the most heavily bombed cities in Germany during World War II. The bombings reduced the population by 95% and destroyed almost the entire city. With the intention of restoring as many historic buildings as possible, the rebuilding has resulted in a very mixed and unique cityscape. They only left one building up in Cologne, and that being the Cologne Cathedral, also known as the Dome. The pilots of the Allies would use it as a landmark as they tried to get deeper into Germany. Now it stands as one of the tallest buildings and one of the biggest tourist attractions for Cologne. The people in Cologne were some of the nicest people we ever met on the trip. They would spend their mid-afternoon days sitting on the grass on the banks of the Rhine River, having a nice drink with families and loved ones. Also on the river, they had ice cream shops, pizza parlors, restaurants, anything to satisfy someone's need to get a taste of Germany. They had a lover's bridge over the Rhine River where you would lock your love on the fence and throw your key into the river to symbolize that you would stay together forever. Cologne, Germany also is a huge headquarters for automobile industry. With it being the 4th largest city in Germany, it houses some of the top car manufacturers in the world. The Ford factory in Cologne has 3 buildings where they build the Ford Fiesta. Germany also plays home to one of the most popular German cars ever made, the Mercedes-Benz. And the Mercedes-Benz Museum sits right outside of Cologne, Germany, a 9-story building with their history and of every car that they have made. German food is very good and plentiful. Some of their famous dishes consist of bratwurst, Wiener Schnitzel, and sauerkraut. They are also one of the world's largest consumers of beer and produce wide varieties of beer all throughout their country. In conclusion, Europe is very different than that of the United States. Their cars are smaller than the average American car, the food is different everywhere you go, and the lifestyle is unparalleled to the US. The language barriers find it hard for the Americans to understand, but unlike us in the US, many of the people in Europe know multiple languages. This Euro trip has given me a broader look at what life outside of the United States is, allowing me to be more culturally diverse.